And I have to say that it is on the hour. So what I'm going to do, I haven't had any requests for tickers, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is go over a chart that I found to be pretty exciting. Before starting this, we're going to take a 10-minute break so I can go over that, and then I will release it as a clip, and this will serve as an example. When you do see me streaming gameplay, you can join, enter in the chat a ticker you'd like me to go over, and I'll go over it on the hour, whenever there's a good time to take a break, like what we're seeing right now. So now I am just going to switch over to the other view here, and that's just the channel dashboard. What I actually want to look at over here is the GameStop chart. And there's some things that stood out to me about this. And we're actually, let's see, I'm going to add GameStop to the TRL list because I'm requesting it. And so, yeah, let's add it to the list. And yeah, okay, so hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to DJ Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts, taking a break from some gameplay. And so what we're looking at here on Monday, December 8th, the evening after our market has closed, looking here at the GameStop chart. And it does look like we did test Roaring Kitty's average here at, the YOLO price of $23.41, hitting a high on the day, December 8th, high of $23.55, and then going back a couple days ago, market days ago, on December 4th, we did hit a high of $23.47. Been consolidating up there. I'm wondering, is that a bear flag, a bull flag? I'm not really sure. And actually, if we remove some of the drawings that I have up there, we can see some of those moving averages. It looks like the purple one is the 100-day SMA. The blue is the 50. It looks like we got, I guess that would be a little bit of a bearish cross there with the shorter time frame, moving average moving lower. But, with that being said, we are starting to get above both of those, closed above both of them today. So it could be looking really good. But we also don't have a ton of volume backing up these moves. So that could be suggesting that we might be seeing a little bit of a fake out move here. Or maybe we see a fake out to the downside before we then continue up. And that downside move could be associated with earnings, which are coming up tomorrow, December 9th. GameStop doesn't typically have calls, so I would not expect that. And but maybe there could be some downside volatility to this 20-day simple moving average, the light blue line there, which is at 21.56. So I'd be prepared for a pullback to, let's say, $22, $21.50. Maybe that would be a dip buying opportunity. But if it doesn't go down that low, maybe it goes higher. And a level that I think we really want to see ourselves get above is going to be the red line. That is the 200-day SMA it's currently at $24.45. And then throwing up all of these levels that I have here, all of these lines, I should say, and maybe I'm going to remove the majority of those moving averages. We can kind of see this range that we've been trading in. The midpoint is that blue dashed line. And so I would think that's an important level for us to get above, and that is right around $25, also being like a psychological level there. And so that blue line, based on the range that I have drawn there, is at 24.77. But you may notice the base of that range, we did break below it, testing this real deep value zone here, hitting lows of, sub $20. I don't think we're going back to those levels. And if we do pull back, I think that we would very likely be finding support, like I said, around 21.50. And, I didn't have it drawn up there, and I wasn't even thinking about the gap. But we do have a gap here, the close, and I think this would be I'm not sure if this would be a common gap or a breakaway gap. I think this is because we have a gap up here. Anyways, I'm not the best at the names of those, but what we can see here, the close on November 26th was at 21.63, and then the low the following day was 22.04. So, I think it could be really nice if we do come back and fill that gap. There is also another gap over here based on the close from November 25th, and that is at a closing price of 21.06. But I don't think we're going to get down there. I think that we're probably going to leave that gap behind. But this gap right here coming down to around 22 to 21.50. I would be prepared for that. But again, the close there was 21.63, so we don't even have to come down to 21.50. So do keep that in mind. And then also, I did want to point out here, contract. This is what stood out to me, not the MicroStrategy or the strategy contract here, and not even the contract. I was noticing this big drop that we saw in GameStop net call premium or NCP right here came down by $2.2 million today on December 8th. And so that does make me think that, somebody's selling about $2 million worth of calls. And but actually at that time, we didn't see a massive drop in the volume here. That could be because it was associated with higher value contracts. So that is something to consider. And then these contracts that I have been following, we can see over here, we got the $25 strike call that expires in January, 30 days between now and expiration, increase in open interest, steady increases. So, that is a good look. We also do have the $30 strike call also expiring in January. Not steady, but we have seen some pretty big increases in open interest. So I do think that looks good. We also have the 50. That's a little bit more mixed, definitely more risky, being so far out of the money with that expiration in January. And then we also do have the $32 strike call that expires January 21st. So just giving it another and that's actually 28. So that's giving not just another week, but another week in 2 years, because that does expire 2028. Haven't seen anything too crazy with this one, but what I thought we could do in the few minutes that I have before I need to get back to gaming, I should note too that we do have an expected move tomorrow with the after hours earnings coming out, that expected move being about 8% or a plus or minus of 1.88%. But what I wanted to do was look at this drop, see what time it occurred at. That was at 11:31 in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up another tab. I'm going to go back to Unusual Whales, and I am just going to go to the flow feed, and I'm going to type in GameStop up here as it's already up there. And so what we can see, I want to see contract that was around, I was thinking was it 131? Is that what I was saying? Yeah, 131. You can see the time right up here. That dropped or began dropping around 131, ended dropping around 132. Sorry, not 1, 11. 11. I'm getting ahead of myself there. And we can see 1132 here did see a premium of $2.36 million. And this is the $25 strike call that expires in January of 2027. So we've got more than a year between now and expiration. And we can see that drop there in that premium, I was just talking about. And we see this pretty big spike here, $2.358 million. And that represents, I don't think I have, Ed is blocking it. Okay, so I'm going to actually come back here and have Ed step out of the way for a second. So you guys can see over here that we had an open interest at the start of the day today, December 8th, of 6.1 thousand contracts open. And we saw a volume of 4.5 thousand contracts traded. Will be very interesting to see if the open interest goes up or down tomorrow. So if you want to know, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to remember to check. But I'm probably just going to leave this tab open so I don't forget. But yeah, this does look like it could be some selling of this call, $25 strike, that could be suggesting that there's a little bit of a top in for GameStop, at least with earnings coming up here. See a pullback to 21.50, somewhere around there. I would think that's a nice dip buying opportunity before we continue higher. At least that's what I would like to see. But anyways, with that being said, as always, those are Just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching, and with that being said, let's get back to the gameplay. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and if you did, make sure you tune in for future streams. I am going to continue on with Where Winds Meet.